Hello and welcome to 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk. This is a special episode and we have a special guest doing a special interview. And I'm a special host.
I'm a special co-host.
Yeah, you are. I have Noelle Herzog in the studio with me. Thank you for being here with me, my lovely co-host.
For having me.
And we have a really special guest, and I'm glad this has been a long time in the making.
It has.
Thank you so much. Ashley Smith is here from 90 Day Fiance. You might remember her from, you were on the regular season, you were on Happily Ever After.
Correct, yes.
2 different franchises. I told you watched Happily Ever After.
She did. I was like, I've never seen Happily Ever
Noelle
After.
told me the other day, she's like,
Wrong.
I've never seen that show. I'm like, well,
Listen, I'm full of shit sometimes.
we
when I
did
talk.
we did
I
an
didn't even
entire
realize
podcast on it, so I think you might have watched it.
I did.
You saw it.
So you might remember her from marrying Jay. I know we're wincing at that,
We're
but
cringing.
are
this is what
cringing.
happened. Ashley, you went over to Jamaica. You met Jay.
I did, yes.
And you filed immediately for the K1 visa. You saw him. You were like, "This is what I want."
It was about 6 months, and then I filed
Okay.
for the K1. Yeah. Filed for the K1. We waited 10 months. Thought he was 26.
Right. Oh, really?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes. He told me he was
Interesting.
26. We get to the interview, and they're asking questions, and all of
Right.
a sudden I find out he's 19.
Interesting.
So we had dated for 10 months. So no, I know there's a lot of stuff on social media like, oh, he
Right.
was 16, he was 7. No, he wasn't. He was 19 when
He was
we met.
14, right? Just like
Oh my
we hear
God,
you
no.
loud and clear.
But yeah, so
And you fell just hard and fast.
I did.
So who is the one that applied to be on 90 Day Fiance, and how is that?
We actually, neither one of us applied. I never heard of the show.
Okay.
I was in an immigration group on Facebook. I was asking questions about the
Right.
upcoming interview, and they
You were like, "What are
slid
you?
into
How
my-
are you guys getting your kids over?"
Yeah.
jerk.
Asshole.
You're a jerk.
And I was like, hey, like, what questions do they ask? You know, and right away, like, they were like, hey, I'm a casting director.
Yes,
blah,
they're
blah, blah.
in there like sharks.
They are, yes.
Interesting.
Which is surprising because they claim they get so many, like,
Right.
I have a friend going through the process right now. We'll talk about that too. So you were in the group. They found you in the group, and they were like, "Hey, Ashley, we think that your story might be interesting for this."
Right.
You know, and then you do a phone screener.
we
you
did
do
like a Skype call.
interview.
Yeah, they wanted to film my kids. That was a no. So they said
Sure.
they walked away. And then 3
Really?
days before I went over for the interview, they were like, hey, we're coming. Do you still want to do it? I'm like, sure.
Did you know, or did you even think that it would get to this point?
I had no idea what I was getting into.
Had you ever seen the show before?
I had never seen the show. I didn't know the
Do you
fan
regret
base.
it, though?
I knew nothing about reality TV. Yeah, I do.
Really?
But I don't think the outcome would have been any different if the show was involved
Okay.
or not. I think Jay is
Oh, I
who
agree
Jay
with
is.
that.
Yeah, I agree
Absolutely.
with you.
Actually, I think the show probably saved me some time.
Yes.
Okay.
So now you get interviewed for this, and you're gonna do it. Do you go back and watch old seasons? Do you inquire about
I
the
did.
show?
I started watching old seasons, obviously.
What
to
season
see,
did you start with?
I started watching like the one with Paola
Right.
and Nicole and
Nicole and is on.
yeah. I started watching, them, and the show really. I hate to like toot my own horn, but
Right.
the show wasn't that big until I feel like we were on it. Like the ratings.
It wasn't that big.
You know what? I think you're
Skyrocketed.
right.
Around,
though.
I think it was around. You guys were on season 6, right?
6,
Yeah.
correct.
I think it was around season 4 or 5. To be honest with you, when I started watching it, is when Paul was on.
right. Yeah.
Right.
And my mom called me over, and she's like, my mother does this thing where she saves things on the DVR,
Yes.
and then does a presentation for me when I
Of
come
course.
over. She's like, you have to see this guest on Ellen. This is a 5-minute bit. Then you have to see this thing that I think you'll like. Also, they're selling this thing on The View. I think you're gonna like this necklace. And she does this hour presentation.
That really is your mother.
This is
That's
my mother. So my
hilarious.
mother's like, listen, I'm not going to make you watch the whole episode. I need you to watch this clip. This guy is crazy. He's in the Amazon River with a condom on. And I'm like, oh my
Yes.
God. So I go there. He's preparing to go and dip into the water. And I'm like, this is
Crazy.
it.
Yeah.
This
It
is
was
it.
crazy,
This is what
right?
I need to do with my life. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to watch this show. So that was around, I think it was season 4.
Yes.
Or actually, they were on before the 90 days.
Yes.
Right.
Because he had just been going
See,
to meet
there was
her.
already spin-offs. I didn't I will be totally honest. I had no fucking clue. What
So
I was
you
getting
start
into.
watching this show and you're like, okay, we're still going to do this?
Yeah, I saw Russ and Powell, the little scrap
Right.
with whatever that guy's name was. I'm like, this is
Oh,
so
Juan.
manufactured.
Right.
Yeah, with Juan.
Juan.
I'm like, we can do this. You know what I mean? This is fine. Holy shit. That's all I
Yeah,
have to
it's
say.
a lot.
I got
You've been through a
railroaded.
lot.
So a lot of people would have just pulled out at that moment.
Well, there was too late to pull out. Once you sign that contract and
You're
you start
right.
filming, you're in.
Were you scared?
And we actually signed Happily Ever After before season 6 of
Right, so
original
you don't
had
even know
even
what's
come
gonna
out. So I had no
Oh.
idea what to expect. I'm
Right.
like, oh yeah, sure, let's do another season.
So it's
this
like
is fine.
happily ever after ?
Right.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. So like before we even signed, the second season, the first season wasn't out. So I had no
Right.
idea. People were like, oh, she knew what she was getting into. I didn't.
No, I mean,
had
how
no
could you know?
idea.
How could you know? I mean, at that point,
Nobody had. They're like, how can you not know? I had no clue. I was
so a lot of
naive.
people, you get a lot of criticism from people.
Of
They
course,
say
yeah.
you should have known, you should have known, you should have known. And I think that's a little bit harsh because, I mean, who is trying to get into a bad relationship?
Right.
There's no one. I mean, how many people that you know that aren't on TV that are just your friends that you grew up with that are divorced, that are in bad relationships? I mean, we can't really see the future.
can't.
And, people are saying that, maybe you did this for TV.
That's the thing. We didn't know, like I said earlier, until 2 weeks before I went. Listen, it takes 10 months. It took us
Sure.
10 months to get his visa. So we had no idea about the show when I applied
So
for his
how
visa.
long were you together when
So
you
we
got
were
on the
together
show?
less than a year. Like we had started talking, got engaged very quickly.
Right.
And then it took 10 months for the visa.
Okay.
We didn't know about TLC until 9 months and 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Into
Nice.
that 10 months of the application.
Okay.
So we really, people were like, oh, she went to Jamaica and picked this boy up
Right.
and tried to become famous. Absolutely
It's not like you were together for,
we
like,
had
a month.
no idea about the show.
Right.
Sure.
No.
Now, he proposes to you.
He did, yes.
Is there a ring involved?
Yes.
Tell us about
actually, it was a family heirloom. So he didn't have to purchase it.
Did you get to keep it?
He had talked to Natalie, the scooter girl.
Right.
She gave it to him. I knew it was coming. So yeah, I mean, he did it at the resort. He did it in front of like hundreds of people. It was really cute.
Right.
But I knew it was coming.
Did you get to keep the ring?
Yeah, it was my family's.
Oh, it was your
diamond.
family.
Oh, yeah,
Your
It was a very
family.
large.
I was like, ooh, a
diamond.
good Jamaican.
Yeah,
No,
right?
no.
Amazing.
No. So it was, yeah.
So he didn't have to lay out any money.
He had no money,
So it
lay
was
out,
fine.
no.
Interesting.
I like a good family heirloom.
Mm-hmm.
That you are into
We
that.
do. We have a fan, Brittany, and she just got engaged last night in New Orleans, and her boyfriend Joe proposed to her with her grandmother's ring.
That's what it was. My grandmother's
Yes.
diamond. Yeah.
It
That's
is
so nice.
beautiful. It's a vintage setting. It's gorgeous. So congrats to Brittany and
Yes,
Joe.
congratulations.
I'm gonna try to be their officiant, whether they like it or not. So
should.
I'm here for it.
She officiated my wedding.
Did
I
you
did.
really?
I was
oh
her
my
maid
God,
of
that's
honor
great.
and her
You're gonna
officiant.
officiate mine if I ever.
You'll get
Yeah.
married
Of
again.
course, in America.
No, she was the officiant and the maid of honor.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
it
double
was like
duty.
a
You were
lot.
double duty.
There was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff was going on. So he proposes to you, and now he's gonna come and live. The funny thing that I thought when Jay came to America was he was freezing cold.
Yes.
That
I
was
mean, that was
funny.
very expected. It was hilarious. Jay, I wish we were on before the 90 days. I really
Right.
do. Because
Yeah.
I feel like people would have a better understanding of why I fell in love with Jay.
Of course.
Because it was pretty damn instant.
I
You know
understand
what I mean?
that.
Like
Yeah.
where he completely turned. It
People
was like
forget the feeling of meeting someone, when you really don't know each other, and just like the falling in love part.
Right.
And you get so blinded by that, but people forget that.
yeah. And it's like,
So
in
true.
Jamaica they don't understand either. Like they don't use IDs. If you can go up to a bar and order a drink,
Right.
even if you're 5 years old, they're gonna give you
Right.
that damn beer. They're gonna
Right.
give you that red stripe. Like here you go.
Right.
So I never thought like, hey, I need to check this guy's stats. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
You were like,
And
he's in a bar,
then-
he's legal.
Right.
Yeah.
And he he put on a show.
Do you
Sure.
think that being on the show is what made him go bad?
No, I
He
think
was
Jay
just
is who
bad.
Jay
Okay.
is. Yes,
He just
think-
happened to be
Yeah,
on
he
the
just
show.
happened to be
Yes.
on the show.
And
being
I
himself.
had read in an article he just did. Oh shit, it was all Ashley. Actually, I really didn't want to do it.
Right.
Because my kids, I didn't want my kids involved. I'm
Sure.
more of a private person. He was all for it. Like, we're doing this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the fact that he did state like, oh, it was all Ashley and blah, blah,
Meaning it was all you that wanted to be on the show?
correct. Yeah, it wasn't.
Right.
No,
I mean,
it was
I'm
a
sure
mutual
that-
decision. You know what I mean? We
Sure.
thought, okay, we can use the extra money. This could be cool.
Sure.
Like, I'm going in this with, oh, let's show America. Like, long distance can work. Oh, cultural differences can
Sure.
work. Like, age differences can work.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
They can.
Not us.
They can. Listen, not a lot of people, but a lot of people that come from the same background and the same age range don't work either.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't think that any relationship is going to work if one person is not taking it seriously.
Correct.
And I think that, unfortunately, men at any age can.
It's just
can
so
act
strange
like
for
that.
me because I'm very in tune with people and I can read people really well. You know, I had 2 kids, 2 different people.
Right.
I stepped away immediately and there was children involved. So the fact that Jay really fooled
Felt
me.
like blindsided.
Well, I will tell you
really
this.
fooled
So
me.
something that I learned recently that I did not know is charming is a very very scary thing.
It's like a narcissistic
I didn't
sign.
know that. I thought my therapist that I had a few years ago, he asked me, he's like, do you like charming men? I was like, yeah, who wouldn't like a charming guy? That's like that's a compliment. And he's like, that's actually not a compliment. He said, that's a very manipulative personality.
Narcissist,
And I
yep.
didn't know that. I didn't realize that. So I think that maybe, and that's kind of what I saw there.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Jay was very like, when we first met, it was all about Ashley.
Right.
Right.
Like all about Ashley. Like, are you comfortable? Are you this? Do you need that? Like, what can I do to make you comfortable? Because, you know, Jamaica, like, it's very hot.
Hospitality, right?
It's very, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's just like, I can't even
And you took that as
wrap my
him
head
caring.
around
Right.
how much changed
Right.
so fast.
Do you think America changed him at all?
No, I think Jay is who Jay is, and I'll like continue to say that. I think he really put on a good show for
Yeah.
a long time.
I understand that.
Yeah.
We would sleep on FaceTime every night. People are like, oh, he was cheating on you the whole time in Jamaica. I don't know how he was. We were literally
Right.
like, we would sleep on FaceTime together. Like,
Right.
it was wild. I don't know. It's crazy.
Now, do you keep in touch with your ex-father-in-law, Pussy Skins? Sorry, Mom.
So what's pretty wild is besides his sister, they still follow me. They still comment on my stuff. I think they
In a
know
positive
he's
way?
kind of a piece of shit. And they're like,
Yeah,
hey,
so they're
like,
kind of on your
we
side.
know you brought him to America and tried to help him. He's just a fucking mess.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. So they seem. Does that make you? That has to make you feel good.
So Jay has a brother like the same age as him. You know, Pussy
Oh, well.
Skins is doing Pussy Skins, right? And like even the mom of the brother, like they still.
Well, that's so weird. How could the same woman be pregnant twice at the same time?
Interesting. Yeah.
As we see, it runs in the family. So yeah, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. On that one.
Oh wow.
But
it must make you feel good though that they support you in their own little way.
I think they, you know, I think the Jamaican community in all supports me, which I didn't feel at first. Actually,
Right.
I was going on a trip right when Jay was taken into ICE custody and I canceled it.
Right.
I was like, I can't go there. These people. And then, you know, the news over there, they had posted an article saying, you know, and they were all like, good for him. He's a piece of shit. Like,
Right.
this is why
Good.
we have such a hard time coming to America because people like Jay.
Oh,
you
so
know what I
the
mean?
Jamaicans
So
were
the
supportive of
community is
it.
they were like, look what she did for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
She came over, she brought him there.
Right.
She took her time away from her kids and her family and her
Sure.
money. You know what I mean? So actually, I was very surprised about the, you know, Jamaican community and the support. I got more support from the Jamaican community than I did from the American.
Really? Because he was giving. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying that you were heartless and you were trying to get.
Racist.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know where that came in, but yeah, of course, everyone's gonna throw something in.
Right.
Yeah. of
How do
course.
you deal with the hate online?
It was really hard at first. I'm not gonna lie. I went through a huge weight loss, depression. I just am that person that I've always tried to please everyone. I tried to stay out of like the negative attention. So I was thrown off.
Yeah.
I was like, these people are going to see this asshole and who he is. And they're going to side with me. But these women see this attractive guy.
Sure.
And they're like, like it turned into like a race thing. Like you're racist.
Really?
You snow bunny.
Yeah.
You should have, this is why you don't date white girls. And I was just like
So they were playing the race card even on you, saying like that you're
yeah, they were saying I was racist, that I pulled him, a young boy from Jamaica.
I mean, like, this
to
is what
become
white women do.
famous. Yes, and I was just like, holy shit, like I wasn't prepared.
Wow.
Interesting. So right now, when you're on Instagram, people are writing you nasty comments. What's your reaction?
So, you know, since the show has ended, I don't get much. During the show, I mean, I got death threats. I got messages saying they were part of gangs and that they were coming for me and going to kill me and my family. Like, it was
God.
wild. People are wild.
Yes.
But I can tell you now, like, I just laugh at it.
Yeah.
Like, when they send it to me, I'm like, wow, someone really took the time out of their day to, like, come into my inbox
Yeah.
and send this. Like, I guess I'm important.
Are you a big blocker?
I am not, but I'm trying to change my brand. I'm definitely pulling away from Jay. I don't want to be known as Ashley and Jay.
For sure.
So we have tried to turn it a little bit influencer style because of some of the feedback that we've got. People like, you know, the clothes I wear or whatever. But I've got a lot going on. So
what are you working on now?
I've tried. So right now I'm launching a lip line.
Ooh.
That's coming out soon.
So is it like lip gloss and lipstick?
It's
or-
like mattes and glosses. Yeah,
Cool.
there's 6 shades. We're starting out pretty small for the spring line just to see how it does. I have a partner, Dr. Jen from Dolce Aesthetics.
Amazing. I've
So
known
we're-
Jen for many, many years.
She's a great person.
fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. You know, working on a show.
What kind of show are you working on?
Well, we're not sure. We're kind of, we had a long
Just pitching
meeting
some stuff. Yeah.
Right.
That's cool.
It seems like the fan base and what we're gathering is people want to see me dating.
I want to see you dating.
I want to see you
So
dating.
I see me dating by myself, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
When you're dating, like you're exciting, you know, because I mean, you have the greatest part is like you're not neglecting your children. Your children have their fathers as well,
Correct.
and it's like you guys are splitting time, so you do have the time to do it.
I do, yeah. Like, you know, I most of the time when I'm here in the city and stuff,
Right.
it is for work. It's not
For sure.
because I'm here to party.
Sure.
Of course, we go out afterwards. We're celebrating.
Why
We're
wouldn't
launching
you?
businesses.
Right.
You know, people are like, "Where are your kids?" Well, I'm sorry. When did they fall out of your uterus? And
Right.
became your problem. But yes, I'm sorry. You know that there are single moms that have no help. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
But that's not my situation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We both made our children, and we both take care of them. So when I
yeah,
have
I
time,
remember like people would say on the show, and they would be like, "Oh, well, where's Ashley's kids when she films?" And I'm like,
It's like they're not
"Do
on
you
the
ever think that
show.
maybe she films when the kids aren't there?
that's when we film.
Like they don't
Right.
film
That's
every
it.
single day,
We filmed
all
for
the time."
10 months, which was like wild. No one ever films that long, but because of all the shit that happened
Right.
after we got married,
Right.
they came back to film. But we only filmed 3 days every 2 weeks, and that was every other weekend when I didn't have my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, also, so your lip line that's coming out, what is it called?
It's called Pout by DNA.
Ooh, okay.
Very
And is
nice.
it like glosses and sticks, or is it like a lipstick?
So it's not actual lipsticks. It's mattes. It's
Okay.
all in like a lip gloss.
Like regular-
a lip
okay.
gloss, yeah. And then we have a couple glosses as well. It's like
I'm really
3
excited
Love
to
that.
try
I can't wait
these.
to try them.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
So we hung out this week. You guys invited us to a party,
Right.
for Fashion Week, and oh my god, I'm so excited! You guys have samples of the
We
lip
do.
glosses.
We have
That's so
samples.
nice.
Yes.
Oh my god!
That's
well,
I'm gonna
very
send
your
you guys.
color.
So we actually are doing
Those are
like
beautiful.
influencer boxes for marketing reasons.
Ooh.
But
they're
we
very
made it,
Yeah, they're very pigmented. That's
yeah.
amazing. We're gonna have to.
You know, we made it very. We did. I took the show. You know what? That's how people know me.
Cute.
Right. Good
I
for
don't
you.
want to take it and run with it, but you know, our influencer boxes are travel influence. They have
Right.
you know like a passport holder.
Oh wait, so
some
this is
luggage
almost
tags.
like a fab fit
Actually
fun
one
kind of
exact.
box.
Well, no, just for influencers for marketing.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll send it to people that have followers.
Right.
You know what I
Awesome.
mean? Especially people in the 90-day franchise. But you
No,
know,
I
one
hear
of the
you.
names is actually
Wink,
like
wink. Yeah.
Kate.
Uh-huh.
One of the names is Kate Dunn. One of the names is Jay Making Me Crazy. Like we did go with the show a little bit because
Hilarious.
that's
Right.
how people know me. Now the next line will not focus at all on the show.
Yeah, but
But we
Right.
thought for the launch, you know what? This is how people know me. Let's have some fun with
Sure.
it.
Why not?
throw them in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great that you're doing something else. See, I think that a lot of reality TV is like, you know, you don't make a lot of money.
Right.
Absolutely not.
It's
no.
what you do with it afterward.
It's
And
kind
people
of like
think it's
what
gonna
you
last forever.
You know, have
No.
you ever thought, you know, Farrah Abraham, friend of the show, she, I don't know if this is true, but we hear that she's taking men out in Dubai and, you know, just like dating kind of,
that's
you know,
what you call
she's
it,
keeping
sure.
company. Have you ever thought about maybe going abroad and just, you know, meeting some men
No.
for some business?
Oh, you mean like a sugar daddy abroad?
Or like on yachts.
Yeah, just like yachting.
that?
Like you go on a
Yachting?
yacht and then they just
Oh,
keep you
like
for like
go-
3 weeks and
I
they
feel
pay
like
you.
This is like sugar daddy situations
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
What about like a webcam girl?
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
you-
no, 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 no.
All right.
No,
well,
no, no, no.
listen, it was
Absolutely
worth a
not.
shot.
we actually got
Ashley, I'm trying to manage you.
we got pitched. We got pitched from Vivid.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, I have kids. I'm not doing that.
No.
You know, what I mean? I'm sure people would love to see that.
You could have had Farrah's dad negotiate the contract for you.
Absolutely. I could. And you know what? I met Farrah. I met
Yeah.
Farrah twice. Because we have the same publicist. John.
Right.
Yeah, you know, that's not really the avenue I care to take.
Not
Right.
your thing.
Same with kids, you know, they keep saying, come on, put your kids out there. You
No,
know, you'll get more.
don't.
I don't want to, that's not, I could make so much more money. People talk about me like, oh, she's posting flat tummy T-ab.
Right.
Like, oh, she's so hard up for cash. If I was hard up for cash, I'd put my kids out in an instant.
Yeah,
And I
for
could
sure.
make so much more money.
But I don't like when people knock people for advertising. I mean, it's the whole point. I don't want to say it's the point, but it kind of is the point of building up
If
your
you
fan
knew the
base.
hell that we go through.
That's like saying, like, you know, them knocking you for promoting something is the same thing like saying, like, oh, this TV show sold out. There's
Right.
ads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How do you
There's ads. It's,
how do
that's-
you think we get paid?
Right.
Exactly.
This
And
is-
the show, like you said, we don't make shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I lost money on the show because I'm very like you know, like before the show came, I redid my whole house. Like, I
Right.
think I made like $10,000
Right.
the first season.
Ashley, you redid the whole house. You were very careful. We obviously saw how you decorated. Very beautiful, right? But yet you had the vacuum out. You had the vacuum out all the time. I mean, listen, I'm not going to knock you for cleaning, but I feel like the vacuum didn't have a home.
You know what? I got rid of that little Bissell.
Did you return it?
No, I just threw
Tracy
it right
style?
in the dumpster.
Right.
I got the little shark now. He just
The shark is pretty good.
The shark is good.
You got the shark robot vacuum.
So he might be in upcoming TV shows. Just wandering around the house.
Interesting. You should dress him up. Did you name him?
It's Gretchen.
Okay.
Gretchen.
It's actually Gretchen.
She's a lady. Okay,
she
sorry.
is. Yeah. She climbs my curtains, but you know what? You might see her soon.
I hear that. That's
you
exciting.
might have a new vacuum to talk about.
Good for you.
Interesting.
Mine's
that hideous
named
blue
Victoria.
one.
She has Victoria at her house. I have Roberto.
I also have
So
a robot
this is normal
mom.
then.
Yeah.
Good.
No, we all name them.
Sometimes I'm sitting on the couch and I forget that I put him on, right? And then I'm like watching TV and like he comes over by the couch and I'm like, oh, hey. Like, can you go like to
Like you
pet him?
talk here. It's like a
That's so
pet. It's your
funny.
family
It's
pet.
true.
When I leave
Yes.
and I leave him on, I leave the lights on for him because I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Like
Gretchen was climbing my freaking curtains in the house.
That's
I
so
came
That is
home,
crazy.
And she was hanging from the curtains and she sucked up a candy cane from the Christmas tree. And I was like, Gretchen, what are you doing?
Actually, I hope
Get
you're
your
treating
life.
her well. She's trying to escape.
I mean, I don't know. I guess.
Ashley, when you were on the show, there was so much controversy, probably more so surrounding you than any other cast member in the history of 90 Day Fiance.
I agree.
There was controversy around, well, first I think we started with Natalie.
Yes.
So Natalie was she your childhood friend, your high school
Natalie
friend?
was a childhood friend, yes.
Okay.
Natalie was always that friend you watched out for.
Right.
You never knew, all of us kind of did. But, I had started getting alerted right away from podcasters, bloggers and stuff saying, hey, Natalie's been messing us.
Yeah, she's
before your
leaking,
show before we even knew who you were.
Right.
She was sending us stuff.
Proactive.
So, we kept, honestly, Natalie and I weren't speaking.
Right.
Actually, I tried to physically fight her
Oh, dear.
at my Jamaican wedding because she ruined it. And
How?
we weren't speaking. And then when we decided, so this Jamaican wedding.
Yeah, what did she do at the Jamaican wedding?
So she was talking to this guy. Natalie's the reason why Jay and I got together.
Right.
First of all.
Right.
I went over with her a second time to Jamaica because she met someone.
Okay.
They got engaged before Jay and I did. She started sleeping with like 6 other Jamaican men that she met everywhere because anyone that gave her attention, she absorbed it.
Sure.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Jay actually called her fiance because Jay was friends with her fiance and said she's in room 312 right now at our resort sleeping with this guy. And here they came. Him and his 2 best friends came and we're in the pool. And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on because she didn't tell me that he called her Shane.
Right.
Her fiance. And so they split.
Wow.
She was through the K1 visa. They were almost to his
Wow.
interview. They were
She
already
probably
at his
resented
interview
you guys,
process.
though.
So she hated
Yeah.
Jay. She ruined our
She
whole
hated Jay
wedding.
because Jay ratted her out.
He
Right.
ratted
So
her
she was
out.
going to turn around.
The whole cheating thing, that was all made up for the show. Like, that wasn't a thing. She did try to say she heard a voice note. They speak patois.
Right.
I sat and watched Jay and her fiance talk about her figure and other things in
Right.
patois. I caught on very quickly to patois. She didn't. She had no idea what was
Right.
going on. I literally sat and listened to them talk about her in the pool
Right.
and her figure and other things about her.
Right.
And she had no idea what they were saying.
Right.
So for her to say she heard a voice note in patois
Right.
and saying that Jay,
Oh,
I
she
didn't
was saying
believe
that it wasn't even in English.
Oh yeah, she was saying she heard
And
it
she
in,
translated
but
it.
she
Give me a break.
translated it.
Okay,
Right.
well,
So I never listened to her, and Natalie is known as a pathological liar.
Right.
We all know that about Natalie. She has issues, and I tried to be a friend. Even through high school, she had a lot of issues.
So
She
you
wasn't-
guys were long-term friends.
Yes.
Okay.
But Natalie is Natalie, and I just kind of brushed it off.
Right.
And the show just totally changed her. Like, she ruined my bridal shower that wasn't shown. She ruined my bachelorette party. It wasn't
Right.
shown. Like, I was running down the middle of like the city in red bottoms away from her at my bachelorette party. It was wild. I can't believe they didn't show it. But
Ashley, she shows up to your house on a Vespa.
yes.
What is that about?
So I
is
was
this
dying.
what she rides?
So like I was so lost because like they had security. I guess she was afraid of me, which she should have been. But yeah, like she showed up and this like, okay, so like obviously the infamous Ashley line is if Jesus came down from heaven.
Right.
So what wasn't shown to you guys
Right.
was me saying, you know what, Natalie, you don't know what kind of relationship Jay and I are in. You are way too into our business. How do you know that we're not in an open relationship?
Right.
Because I was just so sick of hearing it. We weren't
Sure.
in an open relationship, obviously. But of
Well,
course.
Jay wasn't sure.
Well, obviously Jay was in his own
Jay was in an open relationship.
But I made the comment, like, you don't know me. You don't know my relationship. Maybe we like to swing. Maybe we like to do this. So butt out. You know what I mean? Even if Jesus came down, how do you know what kind of relationship I'm in?
Right.
But they edited it very precisely to make it look like I basically said, I don't give a shit if he cheats on me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Which wasn't the case.
That's literally what I got out of that.
That was not the case. Of course, you know, editing is
So
a
now,
bitch.
speaking of editing, there are a ton of things that we see. We notice them as podcasters. We're watching these shows and we're taking
I know
notes.
you saw my nails on the racist one. Now, that is one thing I will say I would never, ever in my life use as a storyline. That happened.
What's that?
The racist comments on the wedding
Oh,
site.
yes.
Right.
That did happen. Yes, we had to go back and reshoot some stuff, but it was more so because Jay was like that was as soon as Jay came. It was 6 days after he came. There was a whole scandal behind that story that we didn't get into.
Right.
It involved guns and it was just a weird situation. I'm like a huge advocate for caring. I have a bad past. Obviously, Natalie leaked that. So it was a big story. It was a big story in our area. It happened to be somebody that I went to high school with. That I was kind of that bitchy cheerleader in high school. I won't lie. And
I would never thought.
He just didn't care for me, and it turned into this huge racist thing. And then he ended up going on our not.com.
Right.
And I mean, it was horrible.
That's really upsetting that, you're so close to New York City, right, where you live, and yet you're so far away.
Right. You're so suburban. It's not even funny. Yeah.
It's really scary.
So it definitely threw Jay back a little bit, which obviously, and my community is very white, but we're very close to the inner city as well. We're 10 minutes from Harrisburg. So you know what I mean? But that storyline was not faked. We had to go back and reread some of the comments, some of the things after filming originally. But my nails were very different.
Right.
So people caught on.
Yes.
So although it wasn't in its natural form being filmed, we
right.
had to go
Still
back
something
to
that
read
it was something that happened.
Happened.
Right.
It was real.
Did you do that a lot? And do you think that that's why some people think that storylines are faked?
We did.
Because when you reshoot something, it's not as authentic.
There's a lot of reshooting.
The reaction, the reactions are not what.
It's very hard because, when you're in the natural habitat or whatever, the form of filming, it's a lot different, and you don't, they don't get everything.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So you have to go back.
Right, you have to explain. They'll say explain it like this.
Right.
Emotions are heightened. Things are happening. So, but we really didn't have to go back that much, but that was a very obvious scene,
right?
With the nails.
A lot of people say that different people on reality shows get bad edits.
I agree. There are bad edits. I mean, I was very badly edited.
Is there something that stands out besides that? Is there something that stands out that you felt like you were so misrepresented from their edit?
Just the tell-all. The tell-all on the Happy Ever After. It was about my kids. It was Mother's Day. I told them I had a certain out time. Not supposed to really be.
They filmed the tell-all on Mother's Day.
They filmed the tell-all on Mother's Day weekend.
That's rough.
Yes. Both of my kids had the stomach flu. They were in New York City with my mother. It was this whole mess. I agreed to get up at 3 a.m. to film that day.
Okay.
When our in time was 8 a.m. Yeah. So the deal was I'm out at 8 p.m. I want to spend time with my kids. They totally disregarded. They take your phones from you at the tell-all.
Right.
You're in this place with no
so
windows. You have no sense of time whatsoever. That is why I stormed off set.
Sure. And they made it look like
Jay said I was doing something and
I
was like goodbye.
Yeah.
But that's absolutely not what happened.
You stormed off to see your kids.
Yeah.
So during the tell-all, there's a ton of tension.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of it is created.
Horrible.
A lot of it is created by the producers, pinning people against each other. Who was your number one enemy at the tell-all, and are you still...
Paola.
Okay. And are you still not
I
cool
don't
with her?
like Paola whatsoever. I think Paola is very fake. I don't like to talk about people, but their storylines are very faked. It's very obvious.
Right.
They've been on the franchise for years, and everything is very created through them, and you can see it. She didn't like that, me and Larissa were getting the attention that we were. And she's very conniving. It's actually I had problems with other cast members,
Sure.
but we always worked through it. Paola's one that I just can't get past. And like her blaming editing on her laughing about the divorce. No, that was
Right.
that was exactly what
Wow.
happened. What you saw is exactly what happened. I don't care for her at all, and I never will.
What about Colty?
Me and Colty have our ups and downs. You know, we hugged it out at the end. In the beginning, we were screaming at each other,
Sure.
he called me
Right.
Trashly. I said, no, my name's Cashly. Like, we just had it
Hilarious.
Right,
You
that's
guys are
good.
like rappers.
out. Right. It was pretty wild. I'm surprised that they edited it, but
Yeah.
obviously him and Chantel got into it right after
Right.
we did. So they chose to show that. Me and Colty got into it again in the hallway before we even sat down.
Jeez.
Right.
We were arguing, and him and Pedro were, I thought, oof.
They were going to fight.
They were gonna
Oh,
fight?
yeah, that was rough in the hallway.
Who do you think would win in a fight between
Obviously,
Pedro and Colty?
Pedro. But then, you know, watching Colt and Larissa, you know, no one really knows what's going on if
Yeah.
you're not there.
Right.
So seeing some of the stuff that I saw with Larissa and seeing Colt's responses sitting right next to him, I kind of started throughout the tell-all to feel for him a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, we hugged it out, but then like 2 days later, he went to the tabloids and started talking shit on me again. You know what? I love his mother. We message each other all the time.
Really?
I love Debbie.
You're into Deb?
Love her. She was hilarious. They edited a part that, you know, as soon as Jay came on set, because, you know, Jay came delayed.
Yes.
Right.
wasn't
We weren't sure if he was
there.
coming. And then he
Right.
As
arrived.
soon as he came on stage, Mother Debbie comes out and goes, "Oh, have you been on Tinder lately?" I'm like, why did they edit that? It was hilarious.
Right.
But, you know, they choose what they want. But, yeah, so, you know, after he went to the tabloids saying that I, like, whatever he was saying, that I was, what was he saying? Using fans for GoFundMe or something.
Right.
You know, I just haven't pursued.
What about
Right.
Larissa? Are you guys close? Are you friendly?
Larissa and I? You know, we had our ups and downs, especially when Jay was locked up in
yeah, 'cause
ICE.
I remember
him and
she was-
Fernando were
Right.
very, you know,
Supportive.
advocates for him.
Right.
And it pissed me off, but you know, she reached out and, you know, said, you know, we spoke our piece. So we're
Good.
we're on normal terms.
Okay.
You know, I don't speak to Fernanda, but we hung out with Jonathan and Fernanda, but I'll be honest, I love Chantel and Nicole.
Okay, so I was
Okay.
going to ask you,
They
who
are-
are your favorite?
So me and Kalani are probably the closest. Me, Kalani,
We
and
love
Kalani.
I love Kalani.
love Kalani.
Tracy
yes.
loves
I
her.
love her.
Yeah.
So
I love her hair.
We talk all the time. I love them. They're obviously my favorites.
Okay.
Chantel was a huge advocate for me. I really went through it on that tell-all for Happily Ever
Yeah.
After. You know, her and Pedro came to my room. They checked on me. We ended up
that's
going.
really nice.
Me, her, and Nicole and Pedro went out to dinner the night before because they actually had Jay up in another hotel.
Okay.
So I went in by myself,
Right.
and the three of them were sitting in the lobby, and we actually went out. We had champagne. We had a great time. We didn't even come in until like 1 a.m. And I had to get up at 3 to film.
Right.
But the next night they all came to my room after because I did leave set early. I was pissed.
Right.
And you know, they checked on me. They tried to get me to go out with them. I wasn't there for it that night. But no, I really like Nicole and Chantel. I love Kalani.
What do you think about Nicole and Azan? Like, where are they right now? I mean, they're not married yet.
Right.
I mean,
They aren't, you know, and she's done.
she's done with
Really?
Azan.
Really?
No, not Azan. She's just done with the show.
Oh,
And the editing,
okay.
and she's just done. So, you know, she's back to a normal life, and, you know, I'm proud of her. You know,
Good for her.
it's got to be really hard to go back to Starbucks after being on TV.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And just do the thing. You know, live your life. So I'm proud of her.
So you think she's doing better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mhm.
We listen. We wish everyone well.
Yes.
Is there anyone besides Paula, even from other seasons, that is like your other nemesis, or is that really it?
I really don't think it's just she just really
I could
really
see
rubs
that,
me
though.
the wrong
Right.
way.
What's something that you want people to know about you that was absolutely not portrayed? I mean, we know the Ashley on screen. That's what we
Yes.
know. So what's something about Ashley off screen besides your
I-
lip products that are coming
I think
out?
my personality. You know, they really made me out to be this old, dried up.
Old.
Oh, I think they really felt like
I think
they
at
really
first
tried
they
to push
did.
me. Like even in my interviews, like
Yeah.
the clothing that they made me wear.
No, you're right. You were always covered up.
Yes, it wasn't me at
Yeah.
all.
No, you're right. They did.
So I think my quirky personality, like I am hilarious. Like
Right.
I laugh at myself. You know, in my interviews, there is some funny shit that
they don't
and
play
it was always
that.
like, oh, I can't believe
You were
that he
basically
did
like clutching
this.
your pearls.
Yes.
Right.
So, and you know, even the second season, my producer was trying to help with it. Was like,
Right.
let's just be crazy the whole time.
Right.
Yeah,
She
like
edited everything. But
lean into
somehow
it. Lean into the crazy.
Yeah.
Still couldn't
They didn't get the
show
humor
my
in it.
real Ashley. Yeah, because
Well,
I'm like very laid back. I
Sure.
really am.
You wouldn't think so from
no,
seeing you
from
on screen.
seeing me on
yeah.
the show. No, like I'm laid back. Like he just freaking set me off. My
Right.
shit.
Sure. I mean, you and I have spent some time together.
We
We've hung
have.
out with mutual friends and stuff. And a lot of people kind of don't really understand that, like, people have different personalities than just on screen.
Yes.
And, people will say, like, oh, you're with Ashley. How's that? Like, is she bitchy? And it's like, no, Ashley's a person.
Yeah.
Do you have a hard time, like, really portraying that, like, this, like, that was, I don't want to say a character because you are yourself on the show.
Yeah.
But, the things that they choose to include are selective.
It's very selective, yeah. And that I hated that they never really showed my fun side. And I always say this, that I wish we were on before the 90 days so people could really see
like
how
that,
we were.
like the
in
actual
Jamaica.
love that was happening.
Yes, so they could really see us. I mean, who knows how they would have portrayed it. But, I'm really, really excited for a future show that's going to show who I am.
Interesting.
I just wish people would really kind of step back for a second and say, what would you do if you were humiliated
Sure.
and your husband slept with someone in a random public bathroom? Like, what would you do?
I told you earlier, I would have lost it.
Listen,
you know?
people are like, oh, she attacked him. If you think that I was
Right.
attacking him, I could have went way harder.
What is your relationship like now with Jay?
We were really trying to work together.
When was
we
the
were
last time
going
you
to-
were trying to work together?
A month ago.
Really?
Oh, wow.
There was a show in the works. We were ready to do it. But unfortunately, he is just not mature enough.
Right.
And I don't want to look like a trash bag anymore.
Understood.
I'm trying
Good
to
for you.
rebrand myself and let people know who I really am as a person, as a mom.
Right.
And I turned down a lot of money.
Sure. Do you have any contact with him?
He does still message me, but I don't.
Just very minimal.
It's non-existent at
It's
this
one-sided.
point. Yeah.
Okay. So Ashley, 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after. What now? Besides your lip products, you're pitching some TV shows. Where do you see yourself?
I think I'm gonna be pretty busy. I want to get into some YouTube stuff. I'm trying to listen to my followers and see what they want from me.
What kind of content
Sure.
they want?
Yes. So a lot of people want to know, hair, beauty, clothes,
Sure.
this, that. So I want to give them what they want. So I'm going to do some YouTube stuff. It's hard for me. A lot of people want to see me as a mom, and I so badly want to show that,
Sure.
but I will not expose my
Yeah, I
kids
think
to
that
these
it's a
people.
little bit hard. Sometimes people even forget you have kids because you didn't film with them. So it's hard for me. I've never seen you with your kids.
Right.
And I forget sometimes that
Yeah.
you are a mom first and foremost.
I try to show it on Instagram as best as I can without
Right.
exposing the
Right.
kids.
Sure.
But it's so minimal of what I can show because I don't want to show them. People are like, oh, she doesn't have custody of her kids. She's
no,
like,
well,
that's
Come on.
absolutely not true at all. That's
Clearly not
absolutely not true. But my daughter is getting older. One of my lipsticks is named after her. She's very big into makeup and stuff.
Right.
So we are talking about maybe introducing her to social media, but I don't know. I'm still
Interesting.
holding back.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm looking at your makeup right now. Did you do your own eyeshadow today?
I did not. I did my hair today,
Okay.
but we did have makeup. But I am big into makeup and tutorials.
Your eyeshadow is
Yeah, I've
amazing.
been
Thank
looking
you.
at it like all day.
Thank you. No,
Yep.
I had, but I actually have done some tutorials, but they're hilarious because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I'm using
Right.
Q-tips and licking them to like
Right.
fix my eyeliner.
You're doing your
That's
makeup how
me,
we
you know
do
what
our
I mean?
makeup.
Yes.
I do them on live very occasionally, but it's just like people don't realize how much YouTube and like trying to give all this content to everybody is. So I am. When I get home, I want to give people what they ask for, and I want people to really see who I am as a person, as a mom. And I think what you'll see of me next on TV will show better representation of who I am as
Right.
a person. Yeah.
Ashley, where could we find you on your social media networks? Like, where should people follow you, and what should people look out
So
for?
right now I have a Twitter. I don't ever use it. I'm not gonna lie. But I am on Instagram under Ashley E_90. My new lipstick line is Pout by DNA.
So that's Pout, P-O-U-T by DNA.
yeah.
Cool.
So that, and then I am going to start a YouTube channel as soon as I get home and start uploading
Awesome.
some different things, some house stuff, some mom stuff, some different things. People I cook a lot.
Yeah.
I love to cook. So,
Oh, I would love to watch
people
that.
like to watch, I post a lot of stuff on my stories. So I'm getting a lot of
Yeah.
stuff with that. So I'm going to try to get as much as I can out, as well as trying to do this business and, TV stuff again.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
You'll see me again on TV.
Amazing. Ashley, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for doing 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk podcast.
Of course.
You know, we obviously, the name is, not forgiving. But here we are, and you could see at the end of the day, everyone is in good fun. You guys could look out for Ashley's new product lines and her new show. That's exciting.
Yeah, we'll see what the
Yeah,
future
we're
holds.
really excited for you.
Guys,
Thank you
could
so much. I appreciate it for having
absolutely.
me.
Guys, you can follow me at Trixie Tuzini on Instagram and Twitter, TRIXIETUZZINI. And you could follow my website at tracycarnazzo.com and check out my upcoming tour dates. And you could check out my other podcast, Teen Mom Trash Talk, and my brand new podcast, Only in New York. Noelle, where can we find you?
You can follow me, Noe_bear810 on Instagram or at NoeGirl on Twitter.
Awesome. And as always, you could follow the podcast at 90 Day Podcast on Instagram and Twitter for some behind the scenes things. Also, if you guys want to hear more of Ashley, we did a Patreon episode called BS, not Teen Mom related, on our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Teen Mom Trash Talk for more content. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.